Hello guys, thanks for joining this session. In this session, we are going to learn about PowerShell modules. This topic is really very important to work with PowerShell. In the last session, we have learned about dot sourcing that enable us to write the code in a more modular manner. But the problem with that, every time we need to learn the get child item with the pipe operator, and we need to iterate the folders where we have kept the script. There is nothing harm on it, but it is not very efficient and not a standard way to design the production level application within PowerShell. So to make it more standard PowerShell application which we can easily distribute, and whenever we open PowerShell environment, whether it's ISE integrated script editor or PowerShell prompt, your custom module will be available within the environment so that we can directly use the functionality which you have designed, or say the application which you have designed. So how we can achieve this thing? So here come the PowerShell modules. So let's look into the topics. What are the topics we are going to discuss in this session? So in this session, we will discuss about what are modules, why we use them. Then we will also look into module components. After learning the module components, we will also discuss about module types, where we will discuss about how many types of modules we have. And hereafter, we are going to discuss about script module type. That is our main point of focus for this session. We will use the same demo code which we have used the dot sourcing, but this time we will convert it as a PowerShell module. So in this aspect, we will use the same code to design the PowerShell module, and after designing it, we have to also look into the way how we can use the custom design modules. So in this aspect, these all points are mentioned over here, keeping your function in separate files, and there is something called module manifest. So these all topics we are going to discuss in the upcoming discussion. But prior to going into in detailed discussion, I wanted to show you one diagram which will give you a holistic view of PowerShell module, and then you can easily understand the concept of PowerShell module. So let's jump into the diagram. When you install PowerShell, or whenever you get a PowerShell environment while using Windows 10, then you will get some core module installed within the PowerShell environment. We don't have any other module available within the environment so that we can manage any other resources apart from the system resources. So to provide the additional functionality for automating any of the environment, we need to install that module, and that module is basically designed for that particular task. For example, if you want to automate the environment of AWS with the help of Windows PowerShell, then you need to install AWS module. In the same aspect, if you want to automate Office 365, then you need to install Office 365 module. Same is the case with Azure RM module. Azure RM means Azure Resource Manager. Suppose that if you want to automate Active Directory, then you have to install Active Directory module. So such kind of architecture of Windows PowerShell makes it very powerful to automate anything. So that means if you learn PowerShell, then it will be a Swiss knife for you. Another representation of this diagram I have showed you in the very beginning, which will look something like this. So it is representing the same information but with different diagram. Now let's go back to the topic and we will start our formal discussion. So far we have seen that what are modules. So we can say that a module is a set of related Windows PowerShell functionality that is grouped together as a convenient unit, usually we saved in a single directory. By defining a set of related script files, assemblies and related resources as a module, you can reference, load, persist and share your code much easier than any other way. As I already mentioned about this, the sole purpose of module is to allow the modularization that enable us to reuse the code along with maintaining the abstraction. So here I wanted to tell you one thing. Once you install the module, so how PowerShell environment come to know about this module is available and you can use it, and this will be done through environment variable of PowerShell. So how do we come to know about which path belongs to that particular environment? So to answer your question, let's jump to the Windows PowerShell prompt. So to know about which are the modules is going to be loaded within the memory from the given location, we will use PS module path environment variable. So how we can access that variable? So let's look into that. To access it, what we need to do, we need to write $env and there is a colon and something called PS module use tab. So it will give us this thing. Just enter it. Then you will find that it provided us this semicolon separated. Semicolon separated means these are the different paths whenever we are launching whether Windows PowerShell command prompt or Windows integrated script editor. On that time, whatever the modules which is available in this path, that will be loaded into the memory. So let's verify one of them. So let's look into this. So let me open this one. So here you can see that we have these number of modules available which is being loaded into the memory. And let's go into the Windows PowerShell integrated script editor, and these are the functionality you will find over here, like Azure RM. So all these things are coming from these locations. So let's move further. Now let's discuss about why we use them. So now you can easily answer this question, why we use PowerShell module. Yes, exactly. It helps us to save the time. You just need to write it only once and you can use it many times. The other benefit which we will get from PowerShell module, we just need to maintain the useful code in one place. One of the major benefits of PowerShell module is you can easily extend and modify a function, and all scripts that use it immediately get the new features. PowerShell module makes the calling script more readable. One of the major benefits which I feel like with PowerShell module, you can easily port your code and share your code. So now let's discuss about module components. So how does this module is made up of? Basically, a module is made up of 4 basic components. First one is code files, where actually we write the logic. Then the second component is the additional assemblies, help files, or some other script file, which actually supports the main code file. The third component is the manifest file that actually keeps the information about metadata, like who has authored this code file, what is the version number of the module. So versioning information is also kept in this manifest file. And the fourth component is a directory where all these components will reside. One thing I can tell you over here is that these components are ideal way to design a module, but it is not required. You can convert any script PS1 file to a module by just simply saving it as a PSM1 file. Once you save with PSM1 file, then it will be considered as module file. Now let's proceed further and let's discuss about module types. Basically, we have 4 types of module which we can design within PowerShell. One of the mostly created module type is script module. Basically, a script module is a file that is stored as .psm1 file, which basically contains valid Windows PowerShell code. This type of module contains basically functions, variables, which actual building block of PowerShell module. And in this session, we are going to majorly work with the script modules. The second type of module is a binary module that is basically based upon .NET Framework assemblies, that is .dll. The binary module actually contains compiled code of C#. If you compare with binary module with the script module, the commandlet created with the use of binary module is faster than compared to commandlet created with the use of a script module. This is one of the benefit. Another benefit of working with binary module is if you are planning to design multi-threaded commandlet, then you must opt for binary modules. So to design or so to implement binary module, you must know the .NET programming. Now proceeding further, now we have manifest modules. It is pretty much straightforward. A manifest module is a module that uses a manifest file to describe all of its components but doesn't have any sort of core assembly or script where we can design our application level of logic. The fourth type of module is dynamic module. So a dynamic module is a module that is not loaded from or saved to a file. Instead, what happens? They are created dynamically by a script using new module commandlet. The dynamic module enables a script to create a module on demand that doesn't need to be loaded or saved to persistent storage, as we do basically with the script module, binary module, manifest modules. That is not the case with the dynamic modules. You can create it dynamically whenever you require. So guys, enough of talks now. Now it's time to make our hand dirty and design some module with the help of script modules. So to make it very simple, what I am going to do now, I will take the earlier example where we have designed 2 functions. One is to import the CSV and get the data from CSV, and then another function which is taking that read data and giving us the formatted outputs. So this time I will take both the script and I will convert both the script as a module, and we will use it to achieve the same functionality whatever we have achieved with the help of functions, dot sourcing, and now we are going to do the same thing with PowerShell module, so that you can relate how all these concepts are related with each other, and that will give you a complete perspective to work with PowerShell. These 3 points you can automatically come to know after finishing the demo. So now let's jump into the PowerShell scripting editor. So we are into PowerShell scripting editor and we are into the same function which we have designed in dot sourcing. So what we are going to do, we are going to first convert it into module file, and to convert it to the module file, what we need to do, we need to save it as psm1 file. So let's do it now. File, save as, and here we need to specify psm1. So that's it, and then for the same we can do with show CSV data ps1 file, save as, and for this one also we can do the same thing. So we have created now module file. So how we can import it? One little change which I want to do over here is that, so that we will confirm that it is loading from the module. So just put m over here, mudf, and just remove one. For the same we can do this one. So now we have converted a ps1 file to module file by saving it as .psm1 file. So now the question over here is how we are going to use this module. So we can use this module by two ways. So let's look into first way, and then we will discuss the second way. So to use this module, let's jump into the Windows PowerShell command prompt. So we are into PowerShell prompt. So now what we have to do, we can use a commandlet called import module, and here we need to specify the location of the module, that is our tutorial, and here we are having PowerShell demo, and within that we have dot sourcing, and within that we have scripts over here, and we need to import read CSV psm1. Now we will use verbose so that we come to know that how it has loaded. So just run it. So it has loaded get mudf user info. So it is into the memory. So let's use it. So get mudf user info, and here we need to specify the path, the same path we are going to use till here to grab the CSV, as you remember that, and here we need to specify the CSV file. Let's run it. So it returned us this one. We can store it into a variable. Let's store it in a variable called CSV data, and copy this one so that we can use it with other module. So let's run it again. So check CSV data. So we have usernames and email. So now import other module. So let's use the same one, and here this time we will use show. Let's run it now. So it has imported show CSV data. Now let's use it. So to use it we can use show mudf user defined function, module user defined function, users, and here we need to specify the variable where we have stored the data, CSV data. You must be aware with this thing because we are using this from the function session, and we have used the same thing in dot sourcing so that you can understand the concept. Let's run it. So now here we have printed the formatted output. So it is working perfectly fine. There is no issue with it. But this is again, we need to write these number of commands to install, or say to put the custom commandlet into the memory. Then only we are able to use this commandlet. So in this way of importing, we need to specify the complete path that I don't think which is required. So it is better we can just call import -module and the name of the module. Then PowerShell will import that module. So how we can achieve this? So here it comes, the second way by which we can load the module into the memory. But prior to that, we need to create a directory within PS module path location. If you remember that I have showed you the path of modules where the actual script file for the module is residing. So let's look into that. Again, there is a variable called environment, and we have PS module path. If you run it, so it will give us this one. So what we need to do, we need to create a directory within this location, and where we need to keep the same name for the directory whichever the file name we are having for the module. For example, we need to create two folders. First one is read CSV, which which will contain this file readcsv.psm1, and another folder we need to create with the name of show csv data. And once we created this directory, we need to copy and paste these two files in their respective folder, and then just we need to import module with the name of that folder. That's it. So let's do this now. So I am into Documents, Windows, PowerShell Module, and here we will create two folders. The first folder we will create read CSV, where we can keep the module.psm1 file. Now create another folder, that is our show CSV data. Now let's copy the .psm1 file. So let's copy it and paste it over here. Now do the same thing with show CSV data module. Grab this one, copy it and paste it over here. Now go to PowerShell prompt. So let's clear it, and now let's try to import the module. Port module, and here we need to use read CSV. This is our module name. So let's run it, put the verbose. So it has loaded. The same get mudf users info. Now we can import other module, and this time we will use show CSV data. You can use verbose as well. Let's run it. So it did the same thing. Now try to execute the module again. It will give us the same output. So this time we are going to use get mudf user info and grab it in a variable c data, and here we need to specify path.sourcing, and this time user info.csv. So we have this one. Now show csv data. This time we need to show mudf, and here we need to pass c data again. Run it. So it has given us this out. So see here, this is what I wanted to demonstrate you over here. Now we don't need to specify the path because it is getting the information from the environment variable of PowerShell, and there we have kept the module. So this is the location where module is existing. One thing you make sure that whenever you are creating a directory, it must have the name of this file. Whatever the file name which you are keeping, you can keep the same name, then only it will work. Like we have used read csv.psm1 file, so the same directory will be created with the same name. Same with the case with show CSV data. Now moving further, so now we have seen the demo. So we have also discussed about script module, where we have learned about script module. So script module, we know that it is written in PowerShell code. We can write multiple function within the script file, but we have written only one, and we have saved the script file as a module with psm1 file extension. And we have also performed this exercise where we have stored psm1 file with the same name as like directory, or you can say that you have kept the same name for the directory, whatever the file name which you have used for module. Now the last point which is over here is the module manifest, which I wanted to show you one of the code demo. Actually you can say that that is a property file of module. So let's look into that. So here I have created a manifest file. Module manifest extension is .psd1 file, and this file contains information about module. So let's just have a look what kind of information it contains. So the manifest file will look something like this. It contains the information, who is an author, what is the company name, the copyright information, and what this actually module will do. So all these information you can maintain in the module manifest. So if you work with any manifest file is nothing but a metadata information holder where we will maintain the information about modules. So here you are also telling that which module it is being associated with. That's the reason you are specifying over here root module. So we are using it for read csv.psm1 file. So let's move further. So let's wrap the session now. So we have understand what are modules, why we use them. We have seen module components. Then we have discussed about module type. We have also worked with script modules. That is majorly a PowerShell way to design a custom module. And at last we have seen module manifest, where we have seen how we can maintain the property for the modules. So I hope you enjoyed the session. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye, take care.